I think most people have the wrong idea when it comes to the core. Everybody wants a six pack, but instead of aiming to have a six pack, what you should be aiming for is to have a strong and stable core. Just because someone has a six pack, that doesn't necessarily mean they have a strong and stable core. The two things are different. A six pack means that someone just has really low body fat percentage. That's the key to having a six pack. Lose weight, drop your body fat percentage so that your abs become visible. Training your abdominals might result in them growing and getting bigger, but if there's still layers of fat in front of them, you're not going to see them. So if you want a six pack, focus on dropping your body fat percentage. But instead of focusing on this, what you should be focusing on, what I recommend anyway, is focusing on developing a strong and stable core. For me, this means focusing on performance. The best sign that someone has a strong core is being able to do heavy lifts and maintain good technique, particularly lifts like squats and deadlifts. If your core can maintain a good position under heavy loads in those lifts, that's a strong and stable core. Same with sporting movements. If you're able to maintain good positions despite external pressures, that's a strong and stable core. When it comes to training the core, I'd recommend focusing on anti-movements, so teaching the core to resist movement. A couple of key anti-movement patterns you should focus on: anti-extension, things like dead bugs, bird dogs, front planks, ab wheel; anti-lateral flexion, side planks are a good one for these; and anti-rotation, so powerlift press variations are a good one for that. You can still include some flexion exercises in your training if you want, things like sit-ups, crunches, but I'm not a big fan of them, and I definitely don't think they're a necessity. I definitely recommend focusing more on these anti-movement patterns, as the core's main role is to resist movement. As well as these anti-movements, learning to breathe and brace properly is very important as well. And of course, the best exercises that train your core are those big compound movements like I talked about before. So your squats and deadlifts, these are the exercises that really build a strong and stable core. But yeah, so don't just assume that someone with a six pack has a really strong and stable core. And instead of aiming to have a six pack, which would just mean you have to just really restrict your calorie intake, I recommend aiming to develop a strong and stable core and base this around performance, not aesthetics.